Now we're going to look at actually doing a word problem where it's asking us to find the total by rounding. So this problem says Janelle bought 3 large bags of popcorn. The first bag had 212 pieces. The second bag had 256 pieces. The third bag had 88 pieces. Estimate the total number of pieces in the 3 bags. So because this is a word problem, students would still need to draw a T-chart right here. They would probably write down the word popcorn up top and write down all the important information, like bought 3 bags. First bag had this amount of pieces, second bag had 256, and third had 88. Now right here, I've taught them that the moment that they see the word estimate, round, or about how many, then we're going to write the word round. So they would say round, and then we're going to write down what we're rounding. They want the total number of the 3 bags. So I would say round total of 3 bags. Now, this next part, on these problems, they will not tell the students what place value to round to. So I always go tell them, look at A, B, C, and D really quickly. And if I look at A, 400, 500, 600, 700, I can tell I'm rounding to the hundreds, because if I start counting by hundreds, 0, 0, 100, 200, 300, these are the numbers that I would be saying. So I can already tell right here that they want me to round to the hundreds place. Now, there's going to be 2 ways to do this, and I want students to be able to do both ways just to kind of verify their answer. So some students may even kind of draw like a strip diagram right here, and they're like, I'm finding my total. I see that the first one has 212 pieces, the second bag has 256, and the third has 88. So I'm going to add all 3. Now I can go ahead and add all 3. We can do it this way first. So step 1, if I want to add all numbers first, and I'm breaking it up into 2 at a time because the students tend to do better that way. So 6 plus 2 is 8, 5 plus 1 is 6, 2 plus 2 is 4. And then I take 468 and I add 88. Okay. 14 plus 1 is 15. Then I would get 556. Now, what I would have students do is say, how do they want the number? Well, they want the number rounded to the hundreds. They want the estimate about how many. So maybe I would take 556, and I kind of do this little split thing like this, and I say, well, 556, if I'm counting by hundreds, it's going to be in between 500 and 600, and I'll have them right halfway in between. Halfway is 550. Now 556, I'll say, is it less than 550 or more? And they should be able to see that it is more and rounds to 600. Now what I really want them to be able to do is to take each number and do that with each number. So they would take 212 and they're going to round that one to the nearest hundred. So 212, if I'm counting by hundreds, is in between 200 and 300. Halfway is 250. They should see, ooh, this number is less than half, so this number is going to round to 200. So if they do that with 256, same thing, it's in between 200 and 300. Halfway is 250. I see this number, I go down to half. Ooh, this is more than halfway, so this one rounds to 300. If they do their last number, this is the one that's a little bit tricky because it's not even 100 yet. We'll say, well, it's not in between 100 and 200. That number is not in between 200 and 300. Remember, I always start with 0, so it's in between 0 and 100. Half of that is 50. 88 is more than 50, so this one rounds to 100. And then if they were able to add, they would add 200 plus 300 plus 100, and they would end up with 600 right there. So with both answers, you do get 600, but I really want the students to be able to do it both ways to be able to see. Now, this one right here is the same type of question, except it uses different wording. It says about how many points was his total score. So again, on this one, maybe you could do this one on your own at home, but I want to point out that this one is not counting by hundreds. This one is counting by 10. So this, you could see when it wants you to round to hundreds, it'll have 100 after it, and the one counting by tens do not. So on this one, for the sake of time, we would have all of this stuff written down. I would have had students write down the word round total points. And this one's talking about a bowling tournament. And then I would have them say, what are we counting by? Well, I would say all of these numbers if I was counting by tens, like 260, 240, 660, 650. So this one, they want me to round by tens. Now I'm gonna just go ahead and do the numbers. And then if you wanted to solve the whole thing, you could at home, but I would take 223, I would take 178, and then I would take 246. This one's a little bit harder, but students should be able to see that if I count by tens all the way up to 90, I have 100, 110. I keep going. After 190, I have 200, 210, 220, and then 230. So there's only a 10 difference here. Half of 10 is 5, so halfway is 225. They should see, well, 223 is less than that, so that one rounds to 220. If I come over here, I have 170. The student should be able to see that's between 170 and 180. If they put halfway, that one's more than that, so it rounds to 180. 240 is in between, 46 is in between 240 and 250. Halfway is 245. 246 is one more than that, so it rounds up. Now, if they take these three numbers right here and they add them, okay, and again, I do have the students do it two at a time just for the sake of them not making as many mistakes, then the answer would be 650 points. If they did add these three numbers together and then round it that way, they would get the same answer, but we really want them to kind of understand the strategy of how we are finding, like on a number line, because this really is kind of like a number line, where this number would fall. So if you'd like to try another one at home, I can show you this question right here, and this one is another one that is very similar to what we just did, and that one uses the word estimate like the first one we did, but this would be a good example to do.